Okay. Ready?
Yep.
All right. So last weekend, I shot my first competition ever. Before then, I had experienced shooting drills once with this guy. I did it for about 30 minutes, did 3 or 4 runs, and that was it. I'm just a 22-year-old that likes to shoot guns. I've never shot anything serious. I grew up hunting, so that is about the extent of my shooting that I've had until the past month or so. I started buying some stuff a while back, wanting to get better at shooting. Didn't really have any idea of how to do that until he told me to go shoot a competition with him. That really says a lot about probably how that went. I think I did okay.
You did pretty good, especially for like the first time. I mean, like I told you, my first competition, which I shoot a decent bit, my first one was way worse.
Yeah.
And it's literally just, you're getting the nerves out on that first competition.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes.
Before then, I mean, the only time I'd ever shot was hunting. I mean, I've obviously gone to the range some, never shot anything moving, never shot anything with moving targets, never shot for speed, never shot for speed and accuracy. So, I mean, I don't have any law enforcement or military background, so I've never had any kind of training or anything like that. So I wanted to shoot this competition to kind of judge myself on where I'm at right now. You know, with carrying a gun, you want to be as responsible as possible, and you want to know how to use it if you have to use it in some sort of situation. So being able to induce stress and kind of judge yourself up against other people. I mean, we were the youngest people there, apart from a couple of kids that were there with their dads. We were the youngest people shooting. So a lot of those guys have been shooting for as long as we've been alive. So they've got lots of knowledge and are very willing to work with you. I mean, from the moment we got there, everybody welcomed us, wanted to help us out, gave us free stuff. I mean, I got a range bag, he got a range bag. So being able to have that camaraderie around you while you're shooting in a high stress situation, being able to get them to give us pointers and everything. I mean, you can touch on some of that.
Yeah, so, and that's something that I know they did the same thing at my first competition. Was I showed up, I didn't know anything about anything. The number one thing they told everybody that was new that day was don't disqualify. That's like number one. Is if you don't disqualify your first competition, you're doing fantastic.
Yeah, that was my only goal going into it, which he told me before, was just don't disqualify, and score doesn't really matter. Just kind of get a baseline of where you're at. I mean, I'm looking back at it, there were definitely some mistakes I made. I mean, I killed a hostage real bad.
Oh, I next shot one for my first competition. I literally shot the hostage right here as it was coming up. So yeah, I got 3 shots to the hostage in the throat, and then that was the only hostage I killed that day. But I did have some other mistakes, a couple misses that I should have picked up on. Yeah.
But I mean, hindsight's 20/20. So now I've got a baseline to go off of, and being able to kind of work to get better from that and judge myself against the other people there.
Yeah.
Because everyone there was very good.
Well, and something that's going to happen with these competitions when you guys start going to competitions too is you'll shoot, you'll make mistakes. Even the guys that have been shooting for a long time, we're still making mistakes, and that's just part of it.
Yeah.
You know, but whenever you make a mistake and there's somebody who can give you input, they'll come over and they say, hey, you know, I noticed you did this. You might try doing this instead to make your time a little bit faster and to make it a little bit more efficient and moving a little bit faster. Things like that. You don't get that from just going out and shooting with your buddies. I mean, whenever you've got, 15 other people watching you shoot, and they're all noticing different things. Mm-hmm. Heck, you can just kind of go around the circle and people tell you, oh, you did this, you did this, you did this, you did this, and you can pick up on that. And also another thing is videoing. Something that we were doing just mainly for YouTube purposes, but also because we want to be able to see our
Where
ability to
we're
shoot.
at.
Video yourself, because then you can notice every little stutter step that you do, and whenever you're watching that video back, I know at least for me, it's probably the same for you too. You watch a certain part of the video where maybe you're fumbling for something or doing something, and nobody else can tell what's going on, but you remember in that moment, oh, I was trying to remember what target was next after this, what I needed to do after this, and yeah, so video yourself. Go out, shoot these competitions. I mean, you're gonna gain so much from it, with the stress, the input from other people, watching other people. Watch other people. Hey, watch other people. It's kind of a good idea, watching these other guys do this stuff, because they know what they're doing.
Yeah. A lot of them, I mean, some of them were military, some of them were former law enforcement. I mean, there's not a way for people like us with no experience other than just carrying a gun and going into a range and shooting. There's no way for us to induce stress and see how we perform under stress. So having other people around you to kind of push you, and the timer pushing you to be fast, to be accurate, but also to be safe. You can't really get that on a range by yourself or even with one buddy. So it's a very good way to throw yourself into the fire a little bit. I mean, it doesn't take anything to get into, and all the guys there have been in your shoes before. So, and girls, there was one girl there, but they've all been in our place before, and I feel like, you know, when you're first starting out, a lot of the mistakes that we're making, they've made before, so they know exactly what we're going through and kind of what's going through our mind when we do things. So having them there to shift us in the right direction, push us a little bit, and also make sure that we're being safe while doing it. I mean, you can't get that anywhere else. I mean, everybody there is extremely nice. You know, you walk in, bunch of rough dudes, beards, tattoos. You think, oh, these guys might be kind of rude or kind of douchebags, but it's the exact opposite. I mean, they welcome you with open arms as long as you're nice and you're willing to hear constructive criticism. Nobody's gonna be rude to you. Nobody's gonna be mean. Everybody wants you to be there and wants you to get better, because it's kind of a dying sport. There's not really a lot of people getting into it, so any chance they have to bring somebody in
our age group, there was one kid in our squad that was younger than us. He was shooting there with his dad. They were just kind of, looked like they were just kind of, that was their first competition. And then there was one other younger kid there. Everyone else was at least 10 years older than both of us. So, I mean, if you're, you know, in the 20-year-old range, get out there and do it. It's worth trying. Now, the one little group of people that I would say don't do it is, if you can't take constructive criticism, don't do it, because if you can't,
it won't go well.
Exactly. If you're not going to be able to take help, they're not going to like you, and you probably won't go back.
But, I mean, he's shot one competition before that. That was my first one. I mean, other than shooting a couple drills for 30, 45 minutes the weekend before, I'd never shot anything while running, moving around, transitioning from small targets to big targets, close targets to far targets. I'd never done anything like that. So I knew going into it that I was not going to do very good. Like I said earlier, the only thing I wanted to do is not disqualify. So if you go into it with the right mindset of, I'm probably not going to do very good, I just want to show up, don't disqualify, and learn as much as possible, then you're going to do just fine. And it doesn't take anything to get into it. I mean, we shot an IDPA level 1 competition, which is, I mean, that's just as entry level as it gets. I mean, you don't need anything fancy. I mean, I shot this Glock 19, just has a red dot on it, with an appendix holster that had an extra mag carrier. And that's all you need. I mean, you don't need Gucci Staccatos, you don't need to shoot Gucci ammo, high performance, whatever. I mean, we shot Winchester white box, and Blazer 9 mil.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the ammo side of it for the competition. I think the total round count was 92 rounds.
Yeah.
And that's not including makeups. You can shoot makeups on most stages. There's a few stages that you can't. But I mean, right at 100 rounds, that's $25, $30, $35, depending on where you get your ammo. Equipment you need, you shoot it with your carry gun. I mean, if you're wanting to get into competition shooting or shooting in general, you probably have a gun, and you probably have a holster if you carry. So that's all. That's basically all you need. That, couple magazines, some ammo, and some water, because it got hot.
Yeah, it got very warm very quick.
But I mean, there were obviously guys there with staccatos. I mean, the state championship was the weekend after this, so there were a lot of guys that were going to be at the state championship that were just using this as a practice run, getting ready for the state championship.
Yeah, exactly. There's always going to be those guys that, you know, they spend tons of money, or they're sponsored. Like there was the one guy, which they'll see in the shooting videos, the one guy that was running the timer, he's a sponsored shooter. He's extremely good. And he's also probably one of the nicest guys there. I know that it's just it's a fun group, man.
It's a fun thing to do.
It's a very fun group of people to be around. They're all cool. They're all easy to shoot with and easy to learn from. They're not rude about it.
They'll mess with you a little bit, which it's nothing harmful. I mean, it's just having a good time.
If you are not a little tit about, you know, people making jokes with you or about you, I mean, just be a man. If you be a little bit of an adult whenever you go to it. But
just be responsible when you go, and people will treat you just fine.
Yeah, I mean, read the rules, make sure you're following the rules. Have somebody to kind of guide you through it, at least somewhat. I mean, I wasn't, you know, nearly as good as the guy that got me into competition shooting, but I did what I could to help carry out. You know, there's a lot of ins and outs that you're not gonna get from reading through a rule book, and plus that rule book is fat. Yeah,
it's pretty stringent with the rules. I mean, IDPA is strictly concealed.
Yep.
You can't have a giant tactical belt on with a holster that's halfway down your thigh. But I mean, there's a wide range of guns that get shot there. I mean, there was a guy shooting a little pocket rocket 6-rounder, and then there was also a guy shooting the big iron and speed reloading a revolver.
Yeah.
So, and then there was us with Glocks, and then guys with staccatos. So,
and I think one guy had a Wilson Combat EDCX, or no, he had an SFX9. Yeah.
So there's some expensive guns there. There's also some non-expensive guns. There's red dots, there's irons, there's young people, there's old people, skill range, anything you can think of. I mean, so, you know, show up and be willing to take some constructive criticism. I mean, if you're going, then you probably want to get better at shooting.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of those guys are going to be better than you. And I mean, as long as you go into it with that knowledge, then you're going to be fine. I mean, go in willing to learn, willing to hear some feedback on what you can do better and how to get better, things to practice on. I mean, it's the only way that we can get a little bit of a stressful situation in shooting, so it's very beneficial in my opinion.
I mean, use the resources that are there for you. You know, there's not that many ways for us civilians to get the stressful side of shooting, and competition shooting doesn't get it quite as bad as, you know, self-defense situation, but it gets your heart rate up, it gets you moving, it gets you doing things, and it presents situations that you're not going to think about. Now there's rules that are goofy, like the 10-round thing. I get that it levels the playing field, but at the same time it's like, whatever, you know, no big deal.
Any competition you shoot is going to have goofy rules like that,
and there's got to be a goofy rule here and there. Fact of the matter is, IDPA was created a while back, and it's an older competition, but and made by older guys, so they have their ways of doing things. But you know, whenever you're adapting to those situations, you're also learning more
Yeah.
from being in a situation that you're not necessarily
Yeah.
encounter on your day to day. So no, it's 100% worth it. And you know, anytime that I go to a competition, I'm gonna try and bring somebody new to every single competition because, like you were saying, it's a dying sport.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do get into competition and you plan on going back, take someone the next time.
Yeah.
Take someone next time. This next time you're gonna bring
Yeah,
somebody.
I'm gonna bring somebody
I'm
next
gonna
time.
bring another person as well.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try and get, you know, my goal is to get at least 10 people
Mhm.
into the competition stuff because
Yeah.
it's fun. It's a great way to learn. It's a great way to train. The people are fun. It's a great way to spend a Saturday morning.
Yeah. Yeah. It's only, I mean, it took us 3 or 4 hours. A lot of fun. I mean, if you don't want to go by yourself, drag a friend with you. It's only $15. I don't know if that's standard or if that's what it costs around here, but I mean, $15, $20 to go, $25 to $35 for ammo, and it's stuff you already have
Exactly.
with guns and holsters.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take anything to get into it.
If you're gonna get into competition, try out IDPA first.
Yeah, it's a very easy to get into.
There's not a lot of extra crap you need. There's not a lot of, you know, just ridiculous, outlandish stuff. It's not like 3-gun where you need, you know, $2,000 shotgun, $2,000 AR, $2,000 pistol, you know, minimum.
You can shoot it with a $300 or $400 pistol in a holster.
Dude, there's guys that, when I know my first competition, there was 2 people running Canics. I mean, base model Canics, not even a red dot on, just iron sights.
Yeah.
And they didn't do great, but you could also tell that they weren't super comfortable with their pistols yet. So then they're learning though, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
So
It's a good way to push yourself and make yourself think in stressful situations, and also learn how to use a gun in a stressful situation. Because I mean, the big thing is safety, and they're very big on safety, and they're not gonna let you mess up. I mean, if you do, you'll get disqualified. But sometimes that's good. Sometimes you make a mistake and you've got to learn from it.
yeah, I mean,
And
big key points to hit is doesn't cost that much, great training, great community. It's fun, and it's safe, and I mean, there's no reason not to try it. If you're thinking about it, go out and give it a shot. If you don't like it, don't go back. I mean, it's simple as that. It's $20. You know?
takes a couple hours on a Saturday morning. So, I mean, I would recommend it for everybody. It's a lot of fun. Like you said, I mean, you basically hit all the reasons you should try it. If you want to carry a gun, know how to use it. I mean, that's basically it. I mean, it's very fun. It's safe. You don't have to worry. I mean, they're not gonna let anything happen out there. They take safety very seriously. But get into it. Get your friends into it. Get your family into it. Go learn how to shoot. Get better. If you're gonna carry, know how to use it. So, I mean, that's basically it. We got another competition coming up 2 weeks from now.
Yep.
So
Registration is tomorrow, by the way.
yeah. So we're gonna go out and shoot this weekend, and we'll see you guys at the